Hi, I'm Annabelle Sami. I'm an author, and today I'm going to read you the first chapter of Agent Zaiba Investigates the Missing Diamonds. This is the first book in the series, and it's also my first book that I've ever had published. So, let's start. Chapter 1. Get my glasses on. Chapter 1, Mehndi Madness. Detective's log number 35. The time is, Zaiba glanced at her watch, 1500 hours. Location, the Royal Star Hotel, Farnworth, the United Kingdom. Observation and hiding point secured. This is Agent Zaiba. Zaiba shuffled further back beneath an empty dining table, clutching her favourite book of all time, Eden Lockett's Detective Handbook. Eden Lockett might be made up, but her books were based on real crimes, and she could teach a budding detective anything they needed to know about sleuthing. In her mysteries, she'd battled robbers and escaped tigers, a ghost in a mansion, and villains in the circus. Zaiba flipped through the pages. There! Advice about blending in with your surroundings. Avoid bright colours. Now is not the time to make a fashion statement. Zaiba glanced down at her outfit. She was wearing a shiny blue shalwar kameez with a silver dupatta tossed over one shoulder. The perfect outfit for a pre-wedding Mehndi party, sure, but when trying to hide from her arch nemesis, not so good. Although perhaps arch nemesis was a bit too harsh. Zaiba's cousin, Mariam, was on the other side of the room, sandwiched between her parents. At least she had been on Zaiba's last sweep of the room. Things had been tense between them ever since Mariam decided to be born on the exact same day as Zaiba. Well, 1 year later. But couldn't she have waited a day or two at least? The latest incident in the growing feud had been at their annual joint birthday party last week. Mariam had accused Zaiba of hitting the unicorn piñata too hard. Seriously, how could anyone hit a piñata too hard? Zaiba could practically feel Mariam's icy stare piercing through the tablecloth, sending a shiver down her spine. She turned to the page in Eden Lockett's Detective Handbook to read one of many notes scribbled in the margin. She traced a finger round the familiar loops and curls. This, and the mystery stories, had been her mum's, and she'd made lots of comments across her beloved book collection. Now they belonged to Zaiba, who had spent hours searching for each unique scribbling. It was her special way of getting to know her mum, who she called Ummi. This message was a particular favourite of hers. Better put on my brave pants today. Zaiba smiled to herself. Her Ummi had been funny. At least she thought she had been funny. She'd passed away when Zaiba was too young to remember. Whenever Zaiba tried to ask her dad about what happened, he would repeat the same phrase, "Leave the past in the past." She always had the feeling that there was something her dad wasn't telling her, something left to uncover. Zaiba refocused her mind and peered out from beneath the tablecloth. Beyond the dining table, the party was getting busier. Even though the event had officially started quite a while ago, 3 o'clock was still considered early for a party that would go on into the early hours of the morning. The guests that had just arrived, wearing jewel-coloured saris and sharply tailored suits, chatted in groups, catching up on all the latest news. The women's bangles cascaded down their wrists as they danced with their partners beside the patio doors that opened onto the garden. But there was no sign of Mariam, thank goodness. Mariam had better not ruin this party too, Zaiba thought. Zaiba knew that Samira, another of her cousins, had spent months planning her Mehndi party. She'd wanted it to be the perfect party in the run-up to the perfect wedding, where Samira, or Sam as most people called her, would be the perfect bride. Sam liked perfect. Zaiba relaxed a little and gave a sigh of pleasure. It was all so pretty. A Pakistani wedding was nothing without a Mehndi party beforehand, where the bride has parts of her body decorated in elaborate patterns with a red dye called henna. There would be choreographed dancing, special sweets fed to the bride, and importantly, her female relatives would share their advice for a happy marriage. This party definitely had the three main ingredients for a successful Mehndi party: food, music, and dancing. At the top of the room, on a little stage, was Sam. As the bride-to-be, she sat on a gilded white lounge chair, wearing a sari in deep red, orange, and yellow. Zaiba saw her cousin stifle a yawn as she continued to sit patiently while her hands were decorated with the henna. Meanwhile, her fiancé, Tanvir, had been cornered next to the punch bowl by some eager aunties who wanted to know everything about the upcoming wedding. It seemed at the moment that this party was fun for everyone but the young couple. Zaiba felt a stab of sadness. Sam was her favourite cousin, and Zaiba wanted this evening to be everything she'd hoped it would be. She glanced around the room, taking a mental note of as many details as possible. As the linen curtains swirled in the breeze, she noticed that the patio doors opened out onto the garden rather than into the room. This could be useful information if they were involved in a high-stakes chase. There was a main entrance leading out onto the drive too. She eased a little gold pencil that the receptionist had given her out of her bag and added extra details to the hotel map she'd drawn that morning. The receptionist, Lisa with a Z, had taken Zaiba and some of the other children round the hotel while their parents were busy unpacking. She'd pointed out the 26 bedrooms, the library with its leather-bound books, and the extensive hotel grounds and separate buildings. Zaiba opened the phone's voice recorder again and put it to her lips. Observations. Number of guests: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 50 people. Sofas and soft seating at 90 degrees to my right. Most people are on the dance floor. Bad, no, really bad music from the DJ booth close to the northeast window. No suspicious activity so far, apart from the girl hiding under the dining table. The tablecloth whipped up and a hand reached for Zaiba, pulling her swiftly out from her observation point. Aunt Fazia, Zaiba groaned, annoyed that she'd been discovered. Sam's mum was a tiny lady who somehow possessed the strength of a bodybuilder. Zaiba liked to imagine this strength came from all the extra strong cups of chai Aunt Fuzia got through in a day. Her record was 10. Zaiba quickly stashed away her phone, pencil, and Eden Lockett's detective handbook in a little yellow purse she wore across her body. The hotel map was tucked carefully between the back pages of her book. A detective never knew when they might need a map. "What are you doing sneaking about under there?" her aunt chided gently. "It's time for your family dance. And by the look on Samira's face, she needs the entertainment. That henna artist is taking far too long." Sam was Aunt Fazia's eldest daughter, and she was a doctor, the youngest on her ward, as Aunt Fazia liked to remind people. Zaiba had always looked up to Sam. She was clever and sophisticated, and Zaiba often thought she could have been a spy if she wanted to be, like in the movies. She looked especially impressive today, if a little bit bored. As Zaiba glanced over at Samira and Tanvir, or Samtan, as Zaiba had decided their couple name was, she noticed the golden ticker hanging over Sam's forehead. It sparkled with rubies and sapphires, making Sam look like royalty. "If I ever wear one of those, make sure I remember to hire a personal security team," Zaiba noted. "Today, the security is us," Aunt Fazia teased. "Now come on, let's kick off this song and dance competition." "Wait, where's Poppy?" Poppy had been Zaiba's best friend for longer than she could remember. Since she was practically family, she had been invited along to the party too. That morning, Poppy's parents had dropped her off just in time for the tour of the hotel. Zaiba had lent Poppy one of her green silk dupattas to wear with her favourite party dress, and Poppy had insisted on wearing matching green kusa. Parties involved two of Poppy's favourite things: dressing up and free food. Throw in a glamorous hotel and she was in heaven. This hotel in particular was right up her street. Lisa had told them on their tour that it was built by some fancy-pants lord ages ago. Zaiba thought he must have been a show-off since he had his home built like a mini castle, complete with 3 turrets that towered into the sky. "Poppy, over here," Zaiba called, spotting her best friend over by a plate of brightly coloured burfi. Poppy shoved the last sweet crumbs into her mouth and ran up to join Zaiba and a small group of children next to the dance floor. Poppy linked her arm through Zaiba's as they waited for 3 grannies to finish their routine to a famous Bollywood love song. "Did you complete your observations?" she asked Zaiba. "I was doing mine over by the chocolate fountain." Zaiba laughed. "I was doing them before Aunt Fazia found me." She turned to her aunt. "How did you find me, by the way?" "A great agent never reveals their secrets." Aunt Fazia tapped the side of her nose. Zaiba's aunt was even more famous than Eden Lockett, in Karachi at least. She ran the Snow Leopard Detective Agency, the best agency in Pakistan. She'd encouraged Zaiba to read her first Eden Lockett mystery after Zaiba had asked one too many questions about Aunt Fazia's job. Now Zaiba and Poppy were mega fans. Zaiba had Eden Lockett bed covers, Eden Lockett stationery. Aunt Fazia had even found her an Eden Lockett phone case. Zaiba would call her aunt in Pakistan and they would talk for hours about their hero's latest adventure. Sometimes Zaiba thought that Aunt Fazia loved the books even more than she did. "She saw you because your feet were poking out," Zaiba's younger half-brother Ali chimed in, wriggling between Zaiba and Poppy. "How long will we all have to dance until Sam's Mehndi is finished?" "I heard you're top of your class in maths, Ali. How long do you think it will take?" Aunt Fazia tested him. Ali tapped a finger against his chin as he counted. Each hand would take around 20 minutes, then double that for the feet, plus drying time. "So, have you had any thrilling cases to solve recently, Auntie?" Zaiba asked, squeezing her aunt's hand, while her brother's eyes darted around the room, making rapid calculations. "You know I can't discuss any of my cases," Aunt Fazia pursed her lips. "But let's just say the Prime Minister owes me a big favour." "The Prime Minister?" the girls gasped. Aunt Fazia was definitely the real deal. What could the crisis have been this time? 10 Bengal tigers let loose in Parliament? "Then the song and dance contest would have to go on for 1 hour and 50 minutes, said Ali triumphantly. "Brilliant, Ali," Aunt Fazia patted his cheek. "You'd better get dancing." The music for the grannies' dance finished and the whole room erupted into applause. "Zaiba, Ali, there you are," came a warm voice from behind them. It was Zaiba's stepmom, Jessica, who she called Mum, and she was ready to dance. "It's the moment we've been practicing for." "I think I'll just watch this one, Mum." Zaiba wasn't much of a dancer, and besides, she couldn't keep up her safety observations and dance at the same time. "What?" her mum cried. "But we've been working on it all week." Zaiba's mum hadn't realised that the song and dance contest was supposed to be just a bit of fun. In fact, she'd been taking it quite seriously, making the whole family stay up until late memorising the choreography. "I'll still perform, Mrs. Oh!" Poppy quickly shut up after Zaiba squeezed her hand. But there wasn't much time for Jessica to try and persuade them, as the music had started and Zaiba's dad Hassan whisked Ali and Jessica onto the dance floor. "Let's see those feet dancing," he grinned, shaking his hips to the beat.